kicking off the week on Tesla Shorts Time, daily, episode 495 for June 1st, 2026. I'm Patrick, coming to you from Vancouver. Let's see what the new week has in store for Tesla. European registration numbers for May landed with some real momentum behind them. Spain recorded 1,690 new Tesla registrations, which translated into a 112.8% increase compared with the same month last year. France posted an even steeper climb at 655%, while Norway rose 29%, and Sweden reached 858 units for a 71% gain. Those figures extend a 3-month stretch of improving results across the continent, and they arrived after a period when softer demand had raised questions about whether interest had faded for good. What stands out here is how quickly the picture shifted once pricing and inventory levels were adjusted, suggesting the earlier softness was more about availability and cost positioning than any lasting change in buyer appetite. Germany and Britain are still to report their own May numbers later this week, so the full regional picture will come into focus soon. If the pattern holds, it points to a market that can respond when Tesla fine-tunes its approach on price and stock, rather than requiring a complete overhaul of the product lineup. That same flexibility shows up in how Tesla manages the materials that actually go into the cars. The company reached an agreement with Australian graphite supplier Syrah Resources that ends earlier threats to cancel the contract and locks in anode material flows needed for battery production. The resolution lifted Syrah shares more than 23% once the news broke. Securing those flows removes a near-term uncertainty from the supply chain at a moment when production schedules are already tight across multiple factories. It also underscores how critical long-term supplier relationships remain, even when both sides have leverage to walk away. Owners notice smaller refinements too. Tesla China rolled out an official manual retractable sunshade for the Model Y that matches the headliner fabric and carries side curtain airbag certification. The accessory directly tackles complaints about heat buildup in warmer climates and represents the first factory-backed solution of its kind for the refreshed Model Y. A related patent filing outlines work on an active shading system for large glass roofs that would cut cabin heat gain without adding meaningful weight. Those details matter because they show Tesla responding to real-world owner feedback on comfort without waiting for a full model redesign cycle. The sunshade is available now, while the active system remains in development, but both reflect the same focus on incremental cabin improvements that owners actually feel during daily use. On the charging side, Volvo is extending access to Tesla superchargers for its drivers across Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. The move builds on earlier North American agreements and increases the number of non-Tesla vehicles that can use the network. For Tesla, each new partner adds utilization without requiring additional capital spending on new stalls. For Volvo owners, it means more reliable, fast-charging options on longer trips where third-party networks may still have coverage gaps. At the same time, other manufacturers are bringing their own vehicles into the same segments Tesla occupies. BMW introduced the iX3 electric SUV and refreshed versions of the X5 and X7. The iX3 is positioned squarely against the Model Y in both Europe and North America, with updated styling and new powertrains also appearing on the larger X models. Pricing and production timing details are expected later this year. The launch serves as a reminder that legacy automakers continue to target the same premium electric SUV buyers Tesla has cultivated, and the competitive pressure will likely intensify once those vehicles reach showrooms in volume. Resale dynamics have created a sharper contrast for one vehicle in particular. Early Cybertruck reservation holders who paid the original $150,000 Foundation Series price are now seeing steep depreciation after repeated MSRP reductions widen the gap between launch pricing and current transaction levels. Later buyers gain from the lower entry points, yet the largest adjustment has fallen on those who took delivery first. The situation illustrates how aggressive price cuts, while helpful for new demand, can create short-term pain for the earliest adopters in a still maturing market segment. Safety performance under extreme conditions offers a different angle. A Model 3 that went over a 300-foot cliff in Malibu left both occupants alive, with the vehicle's structural integrity and restraint systems performing as designed. Tesla noted the outcome as another real-world example of occupant protection. Stories like this sit alongside ongoing conversations about how the company describes the capabilities of its driver assistance systems, and they reinforce that the hardware itself continues to demonstrate resilience when tested in ways no one plans for. Taking a step back, the European registration rebound challenges the idea that demand weakness on the continent was baked into the market structure. Spain's 112.8% year-over-year increase, alongside the gains in France, Sweden, and Norway, followed several months of softer results and arrived after Tesla adjusted pricing and availability. The 3 consecutive months of growth suggest external factors such as cost and inventory played larger roles than some observers had assumed. That pattern fits with Tesla's vertical integration model, where control over software, pricing, and allocation lets the company shift resources across regions faster than competitors tied to longer production cycles or dealer networks. Whether the recovery proves durable will depend on the next several months of data, especially once Britain and Germany report. Those upcoming figures should clarify if the recent uptick reflects a lasting rebalancing or simply an inventory-driven spike. Meanwhile, the supply chain agreement with Syrah and the Model Y Sunshade both point to steady behind-the-scenes work that keeps production moving and addresses daily owner concerns. The Volvo network access and BMW product launches show the charging ecosystem and competitive field evolving in parallel. And the contrast between early Cybertruck depreciation and the Model 3 survival story reminds us that market pricing and physical safety operate on entirely different timelines. Tomorrow, we'll be watching for the Britain and Germany registration figures to see whether the European rebound holds. That's your Tesla news for today. TSLA closed at $423.33, down $12.46, 2.9%. If you found this useful, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. You can also find us on X at Tesla Shorts Time. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NERA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give OmniView a listen, a balanced daily world news briefing that takes every side seriously. You can explore the whole lineup at neuranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.